This video is going to be a film study look at the Ravens' second possession in their 35-10 win over the Bills on Sunday night. The first play of the game, the first touchdown of the game for the Ravens, 87-yard touchdown run by Derrick Henry into the boundary to the right side. Not an anomaly, certainly not a glitch, but a one-play drive is unusual at the NFL level. The second possession, and then obviously the third thereafter, really showed, at least in my mind, that the Ravens could control and dominate, in some cases, the Bills' defense. I'm going to show you a couple of plays here. The reason why I'm going to show you every single play here, excuse me, but before we get to them, I want to focus your attention on the third column from the left. This is my play-by-play breakdown that I document during the game. Of course, I could get this information on Monday or late Sunday night from the NFL website or other locations, I'm sure. I document it myself for a couple of reasons. My own knowledge, number one. Number two, during the reaction videos, which I try to get out within an hour of the game being over, I have the information myself to present to you. Number three, it also allows me to learn how offensive coordinators, in some cases offensive coordinators for the other team, kind of structure their offense. You see one end of the spectrum, team sitting in 11 personnel for an entire possession. The Bills did that a little bit Sunday night. Looking at this possession, though, the Ravens' second, 21 personnel, 12, 20, three consecutive plays in 22 personnel. Again, I'm trying to highlight the third column from the left, which is personnel grouping. This is the Ravens' second possession where they go down to make it 14-3 on the short touchdown pass to Derrick Henry. First play of the second quarter basically finishes off the 70-yard drive. My point in showing you this before we get to the film is the personnel changes is eerily reminiscent of Greg Roman at times before he left prior to 2023. Number one. Number two, Todd Monken, in this game at least, I thought was returning to similar looks and exploiting the Bills' reaction, or in some cases, overreaction to the first play out of a sequence, or the first time he showed a formation. We will show the wham trap play, the first touchdown of the game for the Ravens, 87 yards, Derrick Henry. It's a beautiful concept. It's a nice job on the front side. I touched on this a little bit in a video that I did earlier Monday about Derrick Henry and Justice Hill, that I'm glad that this is being run to the right side. It's generally been a right side play for the Ravens anyway. I think it's quite obvious that our right side of the offensive line has been less consistent. We'll put it nicely. This concept does not require us to, quote, win any battles when we're out leveraged. So, for example, if we were running something to this side of the field and we were trying to zone combo this defensive tackle, multiple ways we could get it done. Some people pin pull stuff. They would pull the center around. Some people leave the center alone if you get a really talented guy like a Tyler Linderbaum. But in any case, we've got to handle it from some schematic standpoint. A combo up to the backside guy kind of makes the most sense. But in any case, the angles have been created for our offensive line on this play. So I'm going to pause it and talk about the angle that Ricard had to come down onto the defensive tackle, the angle that Falele had to go on the backside defensive tackle, and then the little insert or switch that Stanley and Mekari run over here, again, is all predicated on angles. So Mekari is stepping to the D end, Falele down on the backside D tackle, Ricard trapping the front side D tackle. Those angles help create the secondary angles, which is Stanley working up to the second level, Linderbaum working up to the second level, and then Rosengarten has the one. He's certainly not out leveraged against this 5 technique, but he's got the one block that is man on man, meaning you've got to win your matchup here. Everything else has been created by the angles of the formation. Let me rephrase that. The formation has put the Bills in a situation where they lined up in a manner that gave us those angles. It's into the boundary, so that it's not like the Bills can do a whole heck of a lot about it because we have 2 receivers to the field that they've got to line up on, they've got to worry about. In any case, that's how the first possession started and ended with 87 yards. Let's get to the second possession, which is the point of the video. Really cool play, if you ask me, in that we make it look like a run concept to our right into the boundary. Same place Derrick Henry just bit him. And then Flowers gets a screen to the left. 5 out of our last 6 screens have gone for 10 yards or more. To my memory, I went back real quick and looked at the Cowboys game, and that was confirmed for me. You get a lot of flow from the inside linebacker level for the Bills, and that just sets up Zay stepping up field, catching the ball outside here near the top of the numbers from Lamar. Lamar looked like there was a couple of situations last night where he's like, I've got to get this ball out quick. This is set up. This is extremely well set up. We could have gotten potentially more yards out of it. I understand we go get the free safety. I'd like to go on ahead and get everybody from the play side, make the free safety have to come and recover and make the tackle. But first play of the second possession, 10-yard gain on a screen. This one sets up a lot of what Todd Monken does the rest of the drive. 3 into the boundary. So the formation could be different. It could have a different terminology name. It's a read by Lamar, whereby he's got a running back potentially, or likely out into the flats as his first two options, RPO. We arc release likely, so this defensive end is being stepped to by the left tackle. Lamar doesn't give it to Henry. What you're taught in the option game if you misread something, and I'm not saying Lamar misread it. I don't think there's an angle to throw it to Likely or Andrews there. That doesn't mean anything about Likely, Andrews, or Lamar doing anything wrong. I think it's just well defended by the Bills initially. If you misread something in the option, any option team, generally you're taught follow the fullback if you do misread it. So this is another example of Lamar's pre-installed option reactions or option instincts coming into play because Derrick Henry doesn't get the ball. Now, he doesn't block either, so Derrick Henry hasn't played in this offense, certainly didn't play in the offense that Lamar, Justice Hill, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus Edwards did under Greg Roman. So he doesn't necessarily know, let me go ahead and keep blocking here because he's used to either getting the football or not. In any case, for a play that the Bills defended into the boundary, 3 into the boundary, running back and the 2 tight ends, Likely and Andrews, for us to get 6 yards out of it, I think is pretty unique. So the very next play, 2nd and 4. We're late in the first quarter here. Like I said, second possession, about 3.5 minutes left. I used to call this stretch, cut, outside zone, whatever you want to call it. I'll give you the end zone angle in a moment. One of the reasons, I guess, why the Bills didn't like Ricard, well, you're going to realize why 94 doesn't like him in a moment, but is because of this play. Plays like this one. So we're running the outside zone to the field. Ricard is working opposite of it. Sometimes you go get the backside edge defender. Sometimes it's a defensive tackle. Normally it seems like we go get the defensive tackle if he's in a 3 technique, if he's in between the guard and the tackle. And you can see Macari releases inside to go to the second level. Ricard cuts 91, literally upends him. Henry holds on to the football, ends up getting 5 yards on a 2nd and 4. End zone angle, same play. So this is the defensive tackle that's being cut. Keep in mind, you got a bunch formation over here. So besides just Ricard off screen to our right, you've got 2 receivers. Nice cutback, kind of created by that cut block that Ricard executed on the backside D tackle. Moving forward a little bit, 3 into the boundary again. This is the slip back to the field off the motion from Zay Flowers. So when I said that the play 2 plays ago really set up everything on this drive, what I mean is the 3 into the boundary. Tight end, fullback, running back. This could be fast sweep. Give to Zay with Ricard looping around, Justice Hill looping around, and the Bills know that. The motion affects them significantly. You can see we have tight end nobody back here to the field. So this D end is also being left unblocked. So he's putting conflict on the back side of the blocking scheme because now he's got Justice Hill crossing his face, Lamar potentially getting out to the edge. Of course he's going to take away Lamar as an option. This is a really nicely designed play. And 3 plays from now, maybe 4, we'll see a complementary concept utilized off of it. 3 into the boundary is something that Todd Monken uses a lot. Running back, tight end, receiver. In this case, running back, tight end, and fullback, Pat Ricard. Got 9 yards on that little slip into the to the field. Same play, end zone angle, so you can see what I mean in terms of 3 into the boundary. As an aside, it's also the same look as QB power, which is the play where Lamar kept it last week to get the first down to close out the Cowboys. So from a defensive standpoint, you have awareness of some of those important plays that the Ravens used, fast sweep with Zay Flowers or QB power off of it. In this case, the third piece of it, Justice Hill out into the right flats for 9 yards. Here's going to be the penalty by 94 after a nice run by Derrick Henry to the right side. This is a 2nd and 1 after that 9-yard completion to Justice Hill. We're running power, and here's 94. He knows it because Ricard stepped to him, so he's going to try to dig out here against Falele. Well, this is probably the reason why he got so pissed off and chose to knee Ricard after the play. I guess there's a little bit of scuffle or exchange between the two of them. He ended up picking up 15 yards that I think added on to a 4 or 5 yard run from Henry. Nice cut. Henry's cuts are really smart. Like, he's just so intelligent in game, in the middle of a play. He's able to read stuff, cut back, get over the top of what looks like a pile of players down here that included, I think, Macari. We're just extremely blessed to be able to have the guy. I really have nothing good to say about 94 hitting Ricard with a cheap shot. Same play, end zone angle. As you can see, it's Falele and Ricard on him. Really no chance for 94. He gets pancaked. Henry leaps over the pile. We tack on the 15-yarder, and we're way down here now. Same exact formation as the play where Justice Hill caught it for 9 yards 3 plays ago. It's just flipped. So now Zay is going to motion into the boundary. Watch the reaction that we're getting from the Bills linebackers. Justice Hill doesn't cross his face now. He makes it look like he's going to lead for the sweep. I think some of these should be an auto give, I'll be honest with you, especially into the boundary. I don't know how the Ravens get it accomplished. I don't know what the count would look like for these guys. This one, I understand Lamar keeps it. I think he gets 3 yards. Fine. I think we should give these automatically sometimes. Yes, that reduces the effectiveness of it because now we have an unblocked NFL defensive end / outside linebacker. I get it. I still would like to see us auto give some of these and just take whatever we get out into the boundary. Basically, it would work out like toss, where you pin down the frontside inside linebacker, pin down another linebacker, or perhaps a nickel DB, and then the running back leads out onto the boundary side corner. Clearly, the safety would be unblocked. Your guy in motion, whether it's Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, whoever, presumably would be able to beat that guy to the edge and get, at minimum, 4 or 5 yards. Same play, end zone angle. So I'm using this to illustrate, look at the reaction that we got from the Bills when we put 3 into the boundary. They totally overshifted to this. It's almost like, I wish we had ran this back to Justice Hill, the little slip play that we ran 3 plays ago. Alas, Monken chose to run QB power read. The frontside defensive end is able to step down. Perhaps Lamar misreads it. I don't know exactly how they teach it. As it stands, only goes for a 3-yard gain, creates a 2nd and 7. Covered this play in the video I did on Derrick Henry and Justice Hill. It's going to be a screen to the bottom side of the field. I think Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely are doing an amazing job blocking out on the perimeter, on run plays, on screens. Credit to those guys because they got limited opportunities on Sunday night. I think 2 total targets between them, maybe 3. You can see the space that's created. Andrews does end up getting this guy to the ground. 4 offensive linemen out here in front to kind of sandwich the inside linebacker. Falele whiffs on the safety, Damar Hamlin, who is the guy that makes the tackle. Not that I'm saying that Justice Hill is going to score, but Falele's on his tracks, and on some level you want to be committed to your tracks. So we're talking about Falele and Hamlin. It's a 2nd and 7. Like I said, it ends up being a 14-yard gain for Justice Hill. Our screens have been incredibly productive so far. Last play of the first quarter, split zone concept. Looks like Ricard isn't sure who to go get here for whatever reason. It's 1 back out of 20 personnel. I like 20 personnel, meaning we've got Ricard and either Hill or Ricard and Henry on the field with 3 wide receivers. I think 20 personnel we could perhaps throw the ball a little bit more out of. But that's Ricard's path. Nobody shows up. Damar Hamlin ends up being unblocked. Aguilar can't get to him. I didn't think our receiver, I'm not faulting Aguilar for this loss on the play. It's a 1-yard loss TFL for Damar Hamlin. Not faulting Aguilar for that. I didn't think our receivers blocked nearly as well tonight as I've seen other examples. So last play of the second drive where we go up 14-3. Really cool design. Again, defensive end put in a ton of conflict by motion, in this case, going away from him. That defensive end right there. And then two players. Number one, Henry crossing his face. And then number two, Tylan Wallace from the other side going underneath as potential options. Additional to that, Isaiah Likely's route is designed to shield the corner down there and prevent him from getting involved in the tackle. So watch Likely's route here. He's going to go to the bottom side, basically the left shoulder, or outside arm of that corner, cutting underneath such that 47 has no way to get there. It's a cheat play. If an inside linebacker or someone isn't involved, there's really no way to stop it. Beautiful drive, if you ask me. The thing that strikes me beyond, the concepts, the execution, and I think it was Frank in our Discord said, did we even have a forward pass on that drive? Meaning, a forward pass, a typical one. Well, no, we did not. But we attacked horizontally against them and forced the Bills to defend the entire width of the field. I think that was intentional by our coaching staff. My suspicion is our coaching staff recognized that we were going to have a speed advantage and in some cases a power edge as well. I'm really interested in how the Bills defense performs in upcoming games and ensuing weeks. I'm not saying that I think they're suddenly going to give up 30 points every game, not by any means. But I think that the Ravens put some stuff out there on film in terms of attacking them in a horizontal manner that exposed some of the lack of foot speed. And when I say that, I mean at the NFL level. Clearly, compared to regular human beings like us, the guys that dressed to play defense for the Bills on Sunday night have incredible speed. But when they were tasked with dealing with Lamar Jackson, trying to tackle Justice Hill, Zay Flowers, Derrick Henry, the speed, the quickness looked to be a large deficit, if you ask me. Moving from different personnel groups maybe didn't affect the Bills from an alignment standpoint or personnel choice because they are and have been, I should say, a base nickel team for a long time. Taron Johnson is out. I know Matt Milano is missing time this year as well. So perhaps it didn't affect them. But the teams that go from their base personnel to a nickel defense, they have to handle shuffling on and off either an extra linebacker or defensive tackle compared to a fifth defensive back to get into their nickel look. So I credit Todd Monken for doing that. How many of these plays on the second drive do you think were scripted? I think most of them. That's my guess. I wonder what the script looks like, though. I don't think it's a linear script like I have here on the screen right now. I think it's probably looks more like an inverted tree where you have a play, and then from that play, we've got two or three options drawn up off of it, depending on the look that we see. Now, we may not return to that second play from the same formation on the very next snap. It's Todd Monken's job and the offensive staff's job to have their script created, printed, if you will, in such a way that it can be seen and visually accessed quickly during the course of a game. The fact that we moved from personnel groups, one personnel group to another, may not support what I'm trying to say to you. I think the gameplay, the film does, especially the three into the boundary stuff. Monken had them on a string trying to defend three into the boundary. Basically, if you're a nickel team, your choice is roll the boundary side safety down, which I've said from day one when Todd Monken arrived here was one of the things he wants to force you to do to get into a one high safety look. Until the Bills and other teams do so, get into a one high safety look. Kind of simplistically insert that eighth defender down into the box. This might be the play style that we're going to see. I don't know that the Ravens will be able to recreate this against the Bengals in Week 5, but we've certainly done it the last 8 quarters against the Cowboys and the Bills. Appreciate you guys' time, man. Let me know what you think of the possession review style videos. I like to get these done and especially show the personnel groups as we switch them from play to play. If you have any suggestions for other film studies to do for Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday, please let me know in the comments section. Appreciate you guys' time.